Okay, so here we are again, coming to the end of the first quarter of a new year. And we're looking back at our data from the previous year. And we're looking at what we did operationally, we're looking at how we did financially, we're looking at how we grew with our brand, with our reputation, with our staff satisfaction, our quality of services as measured by the outcomes of our patients, and Net Promoter Score. So you're doing this deep dive review. So what do you do? What do you do for 2024? What are you going to do different, is my question, to be a disruptor, to be a differentiator, to be an industry leader in your community for providing physical therapy services to the patients within your community? How are you going to go about being perceived as the unique private practice in your area, in your region, in your community that is solely interested in striving to help as many people as you humanly can reach optimum health, regardless of the condition they come in for? To get them back to their pre-morbid state is not your end-all be-all goal in your physical therapy practice. The message you want to send is we want to take you the highest level of performance for you as the individual by being one of our patients. By you entrusting your care with us, what are we going to do that's going to be different than anybody else up and down the street to provide the outcomes that you deserve as a patient under our care? I feel that CSM that we just finished in Boston, spent 3 days there, was a shining example of the answers to these questions. So much enthusiasm, so much excitement. I've never seen so many people in a conference before. I don't know if that was the most heavily attended conference, but in my 20 years of lecturing across the country, I was blown away. So, total electricity, full enthusiasm, great excitement from all the young generation PTs coming out of school, newly out of school, working in academia in multiple settings, which is what CSM is all about. And we packed a room of about 130 people, and 85% were people that were either in private practice, owners of private practices, or wanting to open up private practices. The enthusiasm was contagious. I was so excited to be chatting with all of those people in the room and everybody in the halls and on the exhibit floor. To answer my questions, however, is for you to actually step outside today's model, for you to step outside of today's paradigm. Don't put an addition on that summer cottage and another addition and another addition, because the floor plan's getting all jumbled up. If you're really going to thrive, not just survive in 2024, what I feel the message that was most readily received and most highly favored at CSM was the idea of we have to get rid of the fee-for-service model. We have to abandon it altogether. Because really the problem within our profession isn't coming from Congress, isn't coming from Medicare cuts, isn't coming from physician-owned encroaching on our profession. It isn't coming from reduced reimbursement, increased drama, increased payroll, exploding inflation, exploding cost of benefits. All of these are external factors, for sure. They're all external factors. But what do they all have in common? They all filter into the fee-for-service model, because that tells you the only way to outcreate all of those challenges, all of those problems I just laid in, which is really what we call the income squeeze. The only way to outcreate that income squeeze is for you, within this current model, if you stay put just the way you are, keep your head in the sand, you don't pop up and say, I got to do something totally different. I have to remodel my business. I have to restructure what I'm doing. I have to stop playing this game and get on a different playing field. If you choose not to do that, the only solutions you have to the challenges I just discussed with you for 2024, more patients, more units, more patients, more units, more patients, more units. And let me tell you, there is not any number of patients or billable units that your clinicians can deliver within professional ethics, within Medicare standards, within compliance standards, professional, state, and federal, that's going to make a difference from 2023 to 2024. With a 3.7% cut, with the PTA cut from a year ago, when are you going to look around and say, enough's enough? Enough's enough. I'm not playing this game. And maybe some of you have. Maybe a lot of you have been listening to this podcast or other podcasts, and I applaud you for that. Getting bright ideas, getting food for thought, taking on new considerations. And maybe your solution to that is I'm going to go out of network. Or maybe I'm going to be all cash. Or I'm going to go mobile PT. That's not all-inclusive from my viewpoint to helping everyone that you have to help within your community. If you're out of network, you're going to retain, if you're really good at that front desk, 6 out of 10 calls. 6 out of 10 patients will come see you. If you're cash only, you better be in one of those higher income areas, and you better be ready to see people once a week, maybe twice a week. Because in order for you to actually sustain that, you have to be charging $100, $120, $130, $140, $150. I know offices charging $180 to $200 for an eval on a cash-based services, but they live in particular areas that they can do it, and the scalability of that cash-based practice is limited. Now, some of you are going to send me hate mail and say, I've got 5 therapists, we're all doing cash, and it's doing great. Great, you're the anomaly. It is not typical that someone's going to open up a cash-based business and have 6, 7, 8 therapists working underneath them, charging all cash, and you're going to be able to keep everybody full, paying their mortgage and making their car payments. I don't see that. I think you can create a wonderful job for yourself, flexibility and high income, nothing wrong with that. I think you can create a wonderful job for 2 or 3 people. I mean, if you're highly trained and very specialized and you have a brand awareness for who you are and the skill sets you have, knock yourself out. I am not bashing on cash-based services. I believe it's a complement. I believe it's a key successful element to the future of what physical therapy private practice looks like. I think the future of physical therapy private practice is a hybrid practice. I think 20% of the services should be optimum health achieving services on a cash-based level, whether it's with licensed professionals or non-licensed professionals in a wellness program, so to speak, not treating a condition or a diagnosis. I think there are so many unique ways that you can get your payroll down to 30% of your monthly GI. You can outsource billing. You can outsource virtual front desk. I mean, that's the number one, whether you use our services or not. So the number one fastest growing thing in our company right now is the waiting list and the people coming in saying, I can't take it. I can't afford $20 an hour for somebody to do my front desk duties. Or be policing them, or handling the drama, or paying the sick, vacation, holiday. It's enough is enough. I can't do it. I'm competing with Taco Bell at $21 an hour in some places of the country. Some even higher. People are telling me they're even competing at $25 an hour. Maybe that's not you. Maybe you're in a part of the country where it's still $15, $16, $17 an hour for that profession, for that position, for that person, for that post in your area. Then I want to lean in and ask you, how long are you able to retain those people? How much of a revolving door is that? How good, how high quality, how skill developed are the people that you're getting from your pond? Because if you're putting somebody in your front desk, you're fishing from a 15, 20 minute, maybe 30 minute drive of your location. And that's the pool of people you're pulling from. My message to you is coming from CSM, it was enthusiasm, it was excitement, it was energetic. The room was electric. And what were they all excited about? Change. The solution here, people, is changing what we're doing. Not relying on government, bureaucracy, Medicare, commercial insurance carriers, our profession even. I love the APTA. Donate to your PAC. Support your state chapters. Be active. Be a participant. I am not taking anything away from that. I do it myself. But I've come to realize I cannot rely or wait any longer for centralized, big bureaucracy changes to positively influence my life. I've been doing this for 30 years. And it's crazy that we still haven't changed loopholes. Referral for profit. You know, we can't stabilize the look, massage therapists are getting paid better than us. In so many places in the country, it's a certificate. You know, you're a DPT, for heaven's sakes. You got $150,000 in debt. You've been in school 6, 7 years, at least 5. And we're competing with the dollars collected per hour. We're getting outpaced by a massage therapist. Nothing against massage therapy. I love massage therapy. I go too. But enough's enough. Come on, man. Enough's enough. It's time to get out of that Yugo, which was an old junky car back in the 80s. Time to get out of that fee-for-service model and go with the progressive PT private practice model, where you're going to literally look like the professional outfit, the professional clinical delivery services practice that you really are. As a PT, why? I want DPTs, PTAs, and techs in my four walls treating patients. I want 20% of my revenue to be coming in from cash-based services. I want to only pay for what I use of my other administrative professional services at a level of service delivery to my practice, to my business, that is above and beyond what I could get from my backyard, that I could get from hiring myself, bringing them in from my own zip code. I need talented, highly trained, highly effective, highly efficient people working my front desk, doing my billing, doing my social digital media marketing, doing data migration or credentialing if I should have those needs. And then invest in myself and the team that I have here on how to actually run a business, not let it run me. How do you feel about that? How does that sound to you? No longer dealing with the drama and the performance reviews on an annual basis. Because CSM, if I walked away and learned anything, it was this. My big takeaway, it's a demand for change. It's literally now, in 2024, a demand for change. For the last few years, it was things need to change, things need to change. Prior to that, it was I want to see things change, I want to see things change. Then it became a need for change. Well, guess what, everybody? I walked out of Boston, got on my flight, and I was pumped because people are at the wall. It's a demand for change. And I stood up there for 2 hours with Laura Lohman, brilliant DPT, director of Meg Academy, and we laid out line by line, detail by detail, how you put a pay-for-performance model in so that you can have your therapist actually operating above and beyond mediocrity. I'm not talking a shared risk model, the more you run, the more you make. I'm not talking that. Pay-for-performance model. Tied back to the reasons why you went to PT school. I want to help as many people in my community as I can. I want to give the abundance of care with each and every engagement because I'm blessed and fortunate that they chose to be at my clinic in front of me on my treatment table than somewhere else down the street. And I want to have the highest quality care as I can based on Net Promoter Score. You can use all the software you want to measure outcomes and think, woohoo, you're doing great. Great. I'm not saying don't do that, but if that's your only message, then you're missing it. Because what matters more than what that paper says is what that patient says. How's that patient feel? 65% of all your eval should be coming in because of the patient. Patient came back, friend, family member, coworker, peer, connected to that patient is now coming into your practice because of the overwhelming superior care you delivered to that patient. This is my message. This is my takeaway. Now is the time. If you are willing to spend $150,000 in student loan debts to get an $85,000 out of the college, out of the box job as a clinician, spend some extra money, $10,000, $15,000 on yourself, on your staff, on your practice, and build a progressive PT practice model. Outsource services that you didn't even go to school for. You don't even have the hat for. You've never had the skill development, the education, or the bandwidth to even do. Stop pretending. Look, I know when my wife goes into a hair salon today, there's one professional in there, greets her, brings her back, greets her, checks her in, brings her back, does the shampoo, does the drying, does the hairstyling, makes the new appointment, cleans, washes her station, sweeps, whatever she's got to do. There's nobody at the front checking you in. There's nobody washing your hair now, going back and reading people. There's nobody who's special just wiping down the mirrors and sweeping up the floors, and there's a special beautician who just... all gone. It's all gone. And that's where PT's going. And CSM in Boston confirmed it for me. People were eating it up. They want to jump out of the fee-for-service model into a progressive PT practice model. They want to see their payroll drop down under 50% of their GI, under 40% of their GI, even in the 30s. Because the rest of the services they're paying for, they're just paying straight up for what they're using. As they grow, the service utilization grows. If it doesn't, it scales back. It's about time there's a big enough change that's going to make a difference in your life and in the life of the staff in which you employ. I love all the facets. Mobile PT, cash-based, hybrid-based, outpatient, bricks and mortar. Whatever you're leaning toward, however you're choosing to map that out for yourself in a practice level of operations, you still have to consider how you're going to run the business. How is your policy and procedures going to run? And how are you going to attract the best and the brightest for the longest retention? 20,000 chairs of therapists out there we can't staff. We can't put somebody in that seat. Don't be one of the ones with the musical chairs with all the seats being empty. You can do something about it. You can literally change it by being more focused and being more progressive in your approach. So that's my message. Thank you so much. I hope the solutions to the problems that I discussed are at hand, and I hope you're ready. Literally, like I saw in Boston, you are literally beating your fists on the table saying, I can't take it anymore. I can't complain about these rate cuts. I can't complain about this decreased reimbursement. I need to take the steering wheel and make a change in my life. I deserve work-life balance as a practice owner or a clinical manager. I deserve to make the changes for the future of my family, myself, my staff, my patients, my community. The power is yours. It's in your hands. You just have to agree to disagree. I'm not playing that game anymore. Put me on the new field. Cut me loose. Give me the powers of control and let me run a business to the best of my ability. That's my message, everybody. Thank you so much. And for those of you watching this on YouTube or listening to podcasts as thousands and thousands of listeners, look, less than 85% of people subscribe. Please do subscribe. It allows me to give you good content, allows me to point you in the right direction, allows me to give you actual workable solutions so that you can actually make the change in your practice. I'm here for you. Please just go ahead and contribute by clicking subscribe, being a follower, and that will help me greatly to put more content out there that you can benefit from. Last but not least, free phone call. Just go to, email Jen, Jenn, at megbusiness.com. Let's you and I talk about where you are, where you want to go, and how you can get there. I can give you so many more specifics over the phone. I'm not a salesperson. I'm not going to try and sell you. We're going to have a conversation about where you are and where you want to go. And from there, you can decide the map you want to take, the route you want to take to live the life that you've always envisioned for yourself. Thank you so much. I've enjoyed this session. I hope you have too. Talk to you next week.